Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Facebook Live event with Alloprof and LEARN. Our topic tonight is Boost Your Child's End of Year Success. I'm here tonight with Lisa Lorenzetti from Alloprof.
Hi.
Alloprof and LEARN have partnered together for tonight's Facebook Live to share with you some great, valuable resources and tips for end of year evaluations and exams. So before we begin, we just want to, know where are you tuning in from? Just drop it in the comments on our Facebook pages, and we'd love to know where you're coming in from across the province of Quebec. So, and at the same time, just a little bit of a housekeeping rules. You may get a little message on your Facebook page asking if StreamYard could allow permission to use your name. So please give permission so we get to know who you are and you're not going to show up as a Facebook user. And we'll actually see your name. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to invite Lisa to introduce herself and Alloprof. So please,
Hey, I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about those end of year exams that are coming up and how we can help you get your child prepared, stress-free as well. So I'm Lisa. I am the advisor for English content development and spokesperson for Alloprof, but I'm also a mom with 3 boys. 2 are still in high school, so we're heading into that time as well in our household. And I'm also a former teacher with 23 years experience teaching. But a bit about Alloprof. So Alloprof is our goal, our mission at Alloprof is to turn academic challenges into success stories for our students across Quebec. And we started very humbly. It was a telephone line in 1996. And now today it's this huge, robust platform filled with pedagogical resources that are all based on the Quebec education program. And these include exercises that kids can do to practice skills. We have concept sheets where they can go and review stuff learned in class. We have videos that they can watch to review concepts as well. And we have some pedagogical games. And for parents out there, we have an entire section dedicated to parents that has actually been completely bilingual since 2019. And we've started going bilingual since 2021. So it's very exciting. As well, we also have 2 support services for students. So if they have a school-related question on Monday to Thursday from 2 to 5 p.m., and again on Sundays from 2 to 5 p.m., they can call, chat, or text a teacher. And we also have a help zone. So it's a peer forum where students can type in a question and peers can offer up some explanations as well. And they're all moderated by our professional staff as well. And that's a bit about me and Alloprof. So Carolina, your turn.
Perfect. So as I mentioned earlier, my name is Carolina Toteda. I'm the Marketing, Communications, and Digital Media Manager here at LEARN. And I'm also a mom of 2. I have a daughter, a teen, and an adult son. So, as Lisa mentioned, both of our organizations are here to support families. And one of the reasons why we partnered for tonight's event is that we want to ensure that families and students get the proper support for end of year exams and even just resources throughout the year. There's so much information out there. And we feel that, parents and families and students need to know that this is readily available for them to use. So LEARN is a nonprofit educational organization. Our mandate is to service the English-speaking community of Quebec. We develop and we offer a variety of resources and services for educators, families, students, and community. We have 3 different audiences that we serve. So educators, basically anybody that's teaching at the classroom level, different school boards across the province of Quebec. Students and families, we offer different family support workshops, student resources and services. All our resources are found on our website. One of our biggest services, our Learn Tutoring program, which is such an amazing service offered throughout the school year from October to June up until June exams. And basically it's a one-on-one session with a student and a qualified teacher. So it's teachers that are actually practicing in the schools today. They're qualified teachers. They know the MEQ, they know the program. And it's really a one-on-one support. It's a complement to what the student is receiving in the classroom. Teachers just, it's really the need, depending on the needs of the child, that's what our tutors will look over. So it's a great service. It's free of charge. This year, because of the support of this amazing community that we serve, we've capped our online tutoring appointments. So we're at our 40,000 maximum. Unfortunately, we're not taking any more tutoring appointments, but all the students that needed the help and needed the support have registered up until June. So they're going to get all the support that is needed. And a lot of our resources are done through our virtual campus. So we have a lot of online resources from how-tos, from different resources that they can access. We actually have amazing featured resources from our tutors that tutor our children, your children. And they just, share interesting resources that, will help them in the different subject area matter. So those are things that we're going to review along the evening as Lisa and I will share our different resources and our tips. And of course, all of LEARN's efforts contribute to student retention, academic success, and strong English-speaking communities. So, without further ado, Lisa, let's start our session.
So I think one of the first things is that parents are wondering, like, what's the first step? Exams are coming. What can I do? So just like you're planning a trip, you need to know where you're going and you need to know when you're going. So the first thing you need to do is you need to know your exam dates. And you've probably already received something from your child's school. If not, it could be on their website as well. So get a hold of those exam dates. We do on Alloprof have an article that outlines all the exam dates for you in case you don't have it. And then the second thing is you need to know what. So at this time of year, your kids are probably in the middle of maybe doing some simulation exams in class, but at the same time, they might be getting an outline for what to study in class. So make sure that you have those and your child understands what they need to do. On Alloprof, we also offer review guides as well for science. So those are a really good tool for you to use to know what we have to study for those science exams. We have them for also elementary math. And now that you're armed with like everything that you need to know, you have the what and you have the when, it's time to take out that calendar. So you might have a big one that you slap on your wall or your school agenda. But make sure you write in those exam dates, highlight them, bold red, and then start planning in some study sessions for your kids with them. So they need to understand, take part in that to foster their autonomy as well. And don't forget, they could have extracurriculars that they still need to do. So plan those in as well with some breaks. Yeah.
This is great. It's great tips. It's really important. And yes, you're sharing Alloprof's resources, but you're as a mom, you're
Yeah.
sharing, great practice. And as a professional in education, you were a former teacher, right? So it's just
Exactly.
valuable
It's
tips.
exactly what I've done with my 2 kids who are in high school. They have their exam dates, they're written down, so let's go.
Perfect. Great. Good stuff.
I was wondering, Carolina, if you had, how long before an exam should a child start studying?
You know, um, Honestly, there's no magic, no exact number. We all understand that cramming is not a strategy.
Yeah.
And I think we've been there too, and back when we went to school, right? So that's not a strategy. That's not an option. There's no magic number, and it really depends on the student, right? So every student learns differently. A parent is the best person to know their child, right? They know how they study, they know the habits. So I mean, it really depends on what you're being evaluated on. Like example, if you're doing an end chapter test, 2 weeks before the test, you start reviewing your chapter, your topics, your concepts, whatever you learned in the classroom. So that's a great way of brushing up what was taught. When it comes to end of year exam, again, I don't think anybody expects students to start relearning everything that you learned from September to June. It's just impossible. We all know that we get that support at the end of the school year in the classroom.
Mhm.
So teachers will review, they do old ministry exams, old exams. They'll always do practicing, and it's done well in advance. At home, you would do the same thing. I would say a good month before your final exam, based on all that nice calendar that Lisa mentioned before. Just pace yourself in all your different subjects. It's important to review. You could use the tests that the teachers gave, or even the end of unit tests. Those are great tools to use to.
Or old tests.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I
These
meant.
are
Former.
old
Yeah,
tests.
yeah, old tests, or even like I know well, back in the day, I don't know if they're still
Yeah.
doing this now, but they used to use old ministry exams, like way back when, or so I think as long as you have all the tools necessary and review and practice, and it's just basically practice, right? And even during the year when you do your tests, I mean, you're not going to totally forget it. Like you'll have the good foundation. You probably just have to go back and review a few of the chapters, a few of the unit tests that you went through. And a little bit every day is important. Like, don't leave everything to the last minute. So a little bit every day, pace yourself. And especially the courses where students are struggling more than others, that's where you would dedicate more time, right?
Yeah, like you said, I think that the sooner the better
Mhm.
is the trick here, because like you said, if they are struggling with a certain subject, they need the time to understand what it is they don't understand, and that can mean going asking their teacher, or using resources on the Learn website, or our free resources on the Alloprof site as well, or going to recoups that their teacher might have. So the sooner the
Mhm.
better, because cramming is just not effective. Kids need to review and practice everything they've done, and dynamically as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Actually, we offer talking about exam prep. So, we have checklists. We have a page dedicated to exam prep. It's really just about exam prep. It's based on what the government has put out on their website. It's a guide for parents, which is great, and it's complete. It gives you step-by-step information on
Mm.
how to proceed, a structure. Follow those steps, and that helps. And our page also has great checklists, like prep checklists, guide for parents, the how to prioritize, right? Like how to prioritize, what am I studying today? How am I studying? 1 to 2 hours. And it's really a great checklist that we created a few years back that parents, students can use. And we help them prepare for various assessments, different subject areas. And there's great videos as well. Like, so
Mhm.
I encourage, we're going to drop the link in the comments. It's Learn Quebec/exam prep. It's a great page that lists all these resources that students and families can access.
Perfect. And just to also let parents know, going on that too, you also probably want to understand what the exams are about. So you have those resources on Learn, which are fantastic. And in the Alloprof parent section on our website, we also have articles dedicated to each of the exams. So all you need to know about the grade 6 math exam, everything you need to know about secondary 5, the English mother tongue exam, or FSL, the French second language core, and all the science exams in secondary 4 is a hard year, people. They have history, they have science, and they have math. So all tons of articles to help you understand and give you tips, extra tips on how you can. Lots of what we're saying here today that both Carolina are saying, but gives you those added tips as well. So Carolina, so how can we, do you think, start? So we've got all information, we've got our schedule, we have those tools. So how do you think, what kind of tips do you think we can say to our kids or give our kids to help them get organized?
Well, I'm basing this on, past experience, present experience. And actually, my daughter is in core exam period.
Oh,
So is my
great.
son. They really need to get a study schedule. Like, I mean, you got to get yourself organized with a schedule. Obviously, knowing the exam dates, when they're happening, where they're happening, right? The location also is very important. You don't want to be looking for the location the day of. So, really get your schedule in order.
And
And
stick to it.
yeah, exactly. Stick to it. And I know it's tough because it's beautiful outside, right? Especially
Yeah.
now, the
Yeah.
next couple of days is sunny, beautiful. And you know what? it's okay. The
Mhm.
kids need a break. They need a break. They need to go outside and play, just vent and have fun. And it's really important to, set up a schedule, and in the schedule include my off time. I'm not going to be studying between this time and this time because I'm going to be doing XYZ. So that's really important. And you know what? You need to maintain the routine. Like, it's important as much as possible. That structure and a well sense of it gives you a well sense of security. So you really need to try to get that routine and that schedule in order. So when the child gets into the exam mode, which is pretty much coming up in the next couple of weeks, well, some of them already started.
And
It,
so
they're yeah, they're ready, right? So yeah,
yeah.
what do you think, Lisa? Like, I mean, I know you guys have a really great and I have a good article on the
Well,
students'
we have
exam.
lots of articles on helping create routines for your children, and also printable like schedule that you can set up as well. So for sure you can visit the parent section, and I'm sure on our end we're posting that also in the chat, in the comments. But like you said, it's important to create that routine and maintain a routine. But at the same time, like you said, Carolina, taking breaks is so important. Every kid has a different attention span. Of course, our attention does get better as we get older, to a certain point, and then maybe it lags off again. I don't know, but our kids do, have times where they just can't concentrate. So maybe it's time to sort of figure out what is the length of their attention span right now, what can they do, and then to give sort of movement breaks, fun activities. We've got a great game on Alloprof about movement breaks with our mascot Flo, different things. It's in our teacher section because we have that too. But those are great as well to print out. You can do stuff like that with them. But we also have, it's in our game section. It's called a motivational timer. And this is a great thing that you can set up. So for students, where kids can put in what they want to study. So let's say I want to do 30 minutes of history, and then I'm going to stop. I'm going to do 50 minutes of reading. Then I'm going to go do 30 minutes of math. And I'm going to come back and do 30 more minutes of history. So they set their times. And then when their time is achieved, there's a timer that goes off, and they're rewarded with they get some kind of reward, like a very fun, there's 3 little interactive video games. The avocado one is my favorite. And then there are different challenges, like, walk with a book on your head, or so all sorts of fun things like that to do too. So scheduling those breaks is as important as scheduling in the actual time to be doing that. And you also talked to about having that area that's conducive to learning, that's
Mhm.
away from distractions, siblings, television, cooking. I know, my kids always like to do their homework in the kitchen. It's not always great because somebody else comes in, or I'm chopping, or my husband's coming home and he's chopping. So, sometimes when it's exam time, have that sort of study space free from distraction as much as possible.
True. Setting up a positive learning environment is really key. And especially, like you said, there's so much distractions nowadays, whether it be
Oh, their phone.
tablets, phones, people coming in and out. And yeah,
And
you
they
need
might
to,
need their phones though, their computers to
yeah.
study, but
Oh,
they
yeah, that's true
hit
for
on them
sure.
every once in a while to make sure they're not checking their social media.
Yeah, definitely.
So, when it comes time to so what's some study tips that we can offer? So we talked about a bit about organizing that space, but what are some
Mhm.
actual study tips that we can offer up to parents to help their kids during this time?
Well, yeah, so some study tips, like, I mean, obviously review and practice are really important. So that's like really like something key, right? You need to review and you need to practice and your different concepts and themes. What I think is also very important, and my daughter does this, I see her do it. Take notes and use color, right? I think writing out whatever it is that you need to study, whatever topic, the concept is really it helps you retain, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, by writing it out, it helps you retain the information, and using different color, highlighting it, keywords, important concepts, post-its, and that's my favorite. I love post-its. We love year.
A wall of Post-its.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Maybe depending on what subject area you're studying, you can organize things by category. I know there's graphic organizers that are used in the classroom, Venn diagrams, mind maps.
Mhm.
These are also visuals that are, they're different, and they allow you to organize information, structure ideas, and simplify connections and between concepts. So it really, like, again, every child is different the way they learn, right? Some learn differently, some are more visual learners, and all these different tools are a lot more easier for them to help them study. And you got to just find that right tool and approach that works for your child, and important support, with their learning. As a parent, if you've seen that they're struggling with something, maybe you can, I remember with the kids, we used to do like little tips and little tricks, like, okay, how can I remember this? So, like, create a little
Yes.
trick for you to remember something.
Yeah, so yeah, it was gonna be like a mnemonic device of some kind.
Exactly.
Like, our kids learn starting in grade 5 about the order of operations, and so they learn that acronym, so BEMDAS, for brackets, exponents, multiples, division, adding and subtracting. So create things like that, silly songs, or even sentences that help them learn their order of, like, in the metric system, the King Henry. The one I use with my students was King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk, to
Yeah.
help them learn all those
All the steps, the right steps, and the
steps.
order of the steps.
The other thing is reading. To me, that's really good active setting, reviewing, is that read aloud. So it helps them, like you said, read out loud, and they hear it at the same time.
Mhm.
And of course, and I'm sure I want you to go back and mention what you have online, but for that review, Alloprof, we do have all those concept sheets. So if your child, for example, wants to remember or tweak or understand how to, like, say, add fractions, you can go on the website, find the concept sheet. It'll provide nice, beautiful visuals and examples for them to follow. And of course, we have videos that you can find on our site, on our YouTube chain as well. But Learn also has stuff that they can
Yeah.
use to
We
practice.
do, we do. So, all our resources and all our links for all, the different resources that we touched upon tonight, you can find them on our website at learnquebec.ca under the Students tab. So we have a big tab on top of our homepage. It says Students. When you click down there, you have all the resources are accessible free of charge.
We have
Uh,
elementary and high school, right? They're
Yes, well,
divided
yeah,
into
they're divided into different that both categories, elementary and high school. And we have I mean 99% of our resources are free of charge. We do have one which is Class Marker,
Mhm.
which is an amazing tool. Obviously, if you're a student attending an English school across the province of Quebec, you have access. Most of them can access that resource through their school board portal. They'll see the Learn logo, they'll click, and they'll be able to access that resource. It's called Class Marker. Basically, it's for high school level students. Sec 3, 4, you have your math, your sciences, it's practice tests. You practice as many times as you want. It's a self-assessment, and you get feedback. So it's really great. That one there is just an amazing resource that is very helpful for high school students, and especially this time that they're going to be doing their end of year exams. We have also different featured resources on our student section of the website for both elementary and high school. So the featured resources for elementary, you have different types of links to depending on the subject area. Basically, all the subject areas are covered. And these featured resources, what are great, they're recommended by our tutors, the tutors that are tutoring our children during the
I
year, or your
love that.
children. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
Puff is on that section.
Pardon me.
One of your French teachers likes Alloprof.
Yes, yes. You know what? It's great. I mean, you guys have amazing resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so yes, FLS teacher, she recommends Alloprof. So they have all, like, a lot of them are resources, they're games, a lot of them in the math share links to games, so it helps with the fractions, with all different types of concepts in math or science. I mean, I highly recommend that families take a chance to take their time and review some of the different featured resources. High school as well. We have a section just for high school where you have featured resources for the subject areas that are covered in high school. And we have an amazing section that's been on our site since the way beginning called How To's. So they're really great day-to-day tasks that are, assigned in the classroom, that are taught in the classroom by the teacher, and perhaps at home you need to go review. So one of the most popular one that everybody accesses at this time of the year, and I know this because of we see the downloads and the access of that particular link, is the Math Memory Aid. Yes, they're still using math memory aids today.
They're good. They need
Yeah,
them.
yeah, exactly. Well, with all the concept and a lot of information, let me tell you that helps,
Formulas. It's
Yeah,
hard.
so we have an amazing one for Math Memory Aid, and I know it's really appreciated by the students and families out there. So that's found in the how-tos, but we have so many more different resources, and they're all categorized by subject area. So it's a great tool. Again, they're found in the Students tab menu. When you click down, you'll see all the different titles, and you access them.
Yeah, it's a great. So I good that you mentioned all that stuff about practicing because that's the other step, right? So they've spent their time reviewing, but they need to practice, right? They need to be
Mhm.
able to go from putting all that information that they're trying to store in their long-term memory so they can retrieve it
Yeah.
back and then
How do
be
we encourage them to practice, right? Like, yeah.
this. Your class marker and your how-tos are great, but other things that you can just simply ask your kids to do is to teach it, right? So they can, if they can teach it to you or teach it to their sibling or teach it to a friend, they're reformulating those ideas in their heads, and it really shows them how much they've understood. And going along with that is, like you said before, using old tests that they may have, practice tests, make a test, create a Kahoot, use
Mm,
your study group. They can exchange and embellish. I think that's the right word, but embellish their understanding, or refine their understanding is the what I want to use. And again, like you said, your class marker is excellent, and Alloprof also offers what we call exercises, and so there are exam simulations as well on there, or just practice exercises based on a certain concept. Taught in class. So if you want to practice, I saw a whole bunch for science, and I don't think I really even understand what they're about anymore. But we've got great science online exercise, and more keep coming. So it's amazing to do that. So anything, flashcards, and of course you mentioned a memory aid, and I think that's really good. So you have a nice how-to, and we also have on Prof to complement this for you parents is we have like a page dedicated to memory aids by grade level, high school. And so you can go on there and it will cover all the concepts covered in secondary one, secondary two, with links to with links that bring you down, which will have that concept explained with an example that ask students to do, so on paper, let's say, and then
mhm.
they click on and have a solution so they can reinforce that. But it gives them a guide, like your video. It gives a guide on how to set up your memory aid, because in secondary, any math exam, there's one part of the exam where they're usually allowed to bring in a memory, and they're really important because memorizing formulas is quite difficult. And
Yeah.
of course, practicing Alloprof has a lot of games on there too. So in secondary 4, we have our first bilingual game called Solitary Reaction. We're very excited. So students who are balancing chemical equations, don't know how, but in secondary 4, or chemistry in secondary 5, that's a great game that they can play. And we have most of the other games are in French for now, but math is a universal language. So they can hop on to Fin Lapin or Meteor Math, and they practice basic skills, their basic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and even finding missing terms. And there's like a little history game too, geography. Those are, as I said, those are in French, but sometimes our kids, even if they're in an English school, might be taking a class in French, right? Their history class might be in French. So get on the site and look for all the stuff that's available there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
fantastic.
I think those are all important tools, and the games. the flashcards, writing tests. I used to do this all the time with my kids. They
Yeah.
were like annoyed, but I thought they were amazing. They were a great way to practice. It gives you also, you time yourself. It's like, okay, I'm able to complete this
Yeah.
in X amount of time because sometimes the time that they give you, the time allotted for exams, doesn't get you to finish the exam. But this is why you need to prioritize and review the exam before, right? Before you actually write it and like, okay, I'm going to answer this first, whatever, right? Anyhow, but I and Kahoot, I love that. I love that
It's
it's so
fun.
much fun. It's
I
it's
used to
it's
make
a
them
fun
for my
way.
kids for history, the
Yeah.
in grade
It's a
school.
fun way to learn. Exactly. We have a couple of interesting resources on our site for history as well. And it's amazing. And when you were saying about the teach it, well, that's what our motto here at Learn is learn by doing, right? It's not dictating. It's not like, if you teach it, you do it like you're doing it. If your child is able to teach you what they understand, like, I mean, the important things that they
Yeah,
understand the concept,
yeah.
then you know that they're gonna, they're ready for success. They're set up for success.
For sure.
Actually, we have a little comment here from Catherine Dagnon. Hi, welcome. Thanks for attending our Facebook Live. She's asking about the Learn website. If on trouve-t-on les exemples d'examen du ministère secondaire 4 sur Learn? So basically, if I'm hoping I understand your question. So we have different resources. So the exam prep resource page, which is learnquebec.ca/exam prep. Somebody will drop the link in our comments. On there, we have a list of all the information about the exam. You'll have also Sec 4, Sec 5, different videos on how to prepare, structure, etc. If not, you can access also Class Marker. So Class Marker is where you will find, because you say Sec
Yeah, she's
4.
about
I'm
that
not sure if
too.
she's specific to math or science, but if you're specific to math and science, if that's part of your question, Class Marker, you can access Class Marker, and we have a lot of self-assessments. They're different tests. They're not necessarily ministry exams, but obviously they're based on what potential question could come up during the exam. So Class Marker. So again, learnquebec.ca/class marker. That link is going to get dropped also in the comments. I hope I answered your question,
She
Catherine. If
wants
we
to know,
haven't,
she has a further one. She doesn't know how to log in information, but as long as they log in with their
so, Catherine Dagnon, first question: does your child attend an English-speaking school? That's the first question. If he or she does, then they will have access to this specific resource of Class Marker. If he or she doesn't attend an English-speaking school, it could be private or public. Unfortunately, they're not. It's not accessible. But if you are part of the English School Board, you can access it through your portal. So your child has a portal at the school.
Mhm.
So they go log into, I don't know, give you an example. Let's say your child attends the EMSB. They have a portal. They go on the portal of the EMSB and log in with their information through their school board portal. Like whenever you get into the portal, that you have all that login information that is given to you at the beginning of the school year, you log in and you should see the Learn logo somewhere on that portal, and you click on it and you'll have access to what your child has access
Mhm.
is able to access as resources that we pay for, because Class Marker is a paid resource that we pay for the community. So yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yep. There's
If
another.
there's still, we did perfect,
We have
great, thank you.
another. Oh,
If you
sorry.
have other questions, Catherine, you could send us a DM. Someone's always online to answer your questions, and we'll do our best to give you all the information. And you still have issues logging into that, please send us a private message, and I'll get you in contact with our team at the virtual campus to ensure that your child accesses the Class Marker.
And we have another question for Aaron Godfrey Silverstone. How much are the ministry exams worth? So
Mhm.
if you are in high school, your ministry exams are worth 20%. And if you're doing the grade 6 exams, so the math and the English exam, they are worth 10%.
Great, perfect.
Um,
So,
yeah, so yeah, that's great. So another thing is like what happens, and I know I've had this too in my own home. If your child is struggling with a particular
mm,
subject, right? So they're coming up and there's like it doesn't even have to be a whole subject, even just be a portion, I don't
mhm.
understand this in math or this in science. Like what kind of things can we do? So, the first thing I would just suggest is to try to bridge that conversation with your child, and don't put too much pressure as well. Like our kids, the often kids will shut down if we're putting too much pressure on them. So encourage them to come to you. But as we said before, the sooner the better, right? If they start sooner, then you'll know where those issues might lie, right? So
Mhm,
sometimes kids have a hard time asking for help, right? So
mhm.
they're embarrassed, they're shy, they think it means that they don't know anything. So I know that we have a great little tool for parents to download that's how to ask for help. It's really cute, different questions that they can pose just to encourage them. Again, reach out to the teacher. They should start by reaching out to their teacher first, and you as well. Yeah. And do you have any suggestions for
Uh,
students in
yeah,
their?
sure, Lisa. I just want to just take 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Welcome the parents, families, students, whoever's tuning in now during our welcome to our live. Again, we're talking about how to boost your child's end of year success. We're sharing different tips, resources, services, tools that will help your child and yourself as a parent. Please do not be shy and drop your questions in the Facebook comments, and we'll get to them. So yeah, Lisa, to get back to what you were asking, I mean, look, in the end, the important thing is that you're supporting your child.
yeah,
Encourage them, always, like show them that love, support them no matter what. It's really important, and also remind them and encourage. I think this is really important. Is that errors, mistakes are okay, and they're part of the learning process, right? They're really learning lessons, so it's fine, and you need to get, to have these errors and mistakes and little struggles to learn and to grow, right? So that's really, and having that growth mindset is really important, and encouraging it as a parent from a very young age is important as well. So that the child knows that, they're safe, they know that it's okay. Also, we need to like look at the expectations, right? Like, as much as, we want our child to succeed no matter what. You do have to look at expectation, and that's why sitting down with your teacher, school principal, it takes a village to raise a child. It really is, right?
yes.
We all know that saying is so like true. Make sure that, if your child is struggling on whatever topic, subject, whatever it is, that you sit down with your teachers, with the school administrators, and say, well, okay, what kind of support can, my child get? What else is there? I mean, between both organizations, we've shared valuable resources. There's so much out there. I can understand how overwhelming it can be for a family, and maybe it's also they don't know where to find it, right? It's like, oh my God, there's resources, but where do I go? Who do I go? What links do I access? So that's really important. I mean, I think as a parent, we all know that it's important to listen to our child, right? Like, it sometimes we don't realize it because we're thinking, but just listening to them, and if they're not expressing, because often they won't express,
Right,
like they're
especially a
shy.
teenager.
Mm, they might be shy. They're afraid that maybe you'll get upset or whatever it is, right? It's just really listen. Like switching to listening mode is really important, and addressing it, and just making them, you reassure them. It's
Mhm.
really important, right? Because already this whole time is very an anxiety time
Right,
for
yes, it's
students. Yeah.
producing.
So by reassuring them, already they feel a little safer. They feel like, okay, more confident, and that's really important. Is that to boost that confidence, and I think a lot of our resources and services. Well, I can speak for our Learn tutoring program. I mean, besides academic success, just by the Facebook reviews that we receive on our page, like my child has boosted their confidence
Mm,
level. They're like, it's just amazing the reviews that service offers the community out there. So it's really important. Yes, academics is important, but you gotta make sure that
well-being.
their well-being is important. Their healthy well-being, mental state is crucial.
And I just to piggyback on that, so so we wanna try to obviously create the least or a stress-free environment as much as possible, so obviously all those things, but it's also really important to, make sure that they're living that healthy lifestyle, which means that
Mhm.
they're going to bed and they're getting their sleep that they need. It's really important. It might mean that you need to take their phone away or their device, but
Yeah.
it's all for the good of them. But also, it's important to eat well before the exam. So
Mhm.
your exam is in the morning, have a good breakfast. We also, and also, if the exam, sometimes the exams are in the afternoon, so, hopefully they'll have a good lunch, or maybe, take advantage, like make them a little lunch so they can eat well before. And of course, we said that as well, like, as they need those breaks and they need that physical activity. So if they're part of the soccer team, they might still need to go to those soccer practices to help them. That gives them a
Mhm.
sense of accomplishment and
Mhm.
teamwork and collaboration. And then I guarantee it, they'll be much happier to get down and
Definitely. It creates a whole balance, right? Like, I mean, the healthy living, well-being, you're feeding your mind like food, you need to, eat properly. We have a few comments that I wanted to
yeah,
address, Lisa. Before that, like, I mean, I think meditating is great. I know a lot of, it's a good thing
yeah,
also to come down, right? Cool,
yeah.
calm yourself. Meditation, just listening to,
Mindfulness,
yeah, mindful for
yoga
sure.
poses.
And there's amazing,
Mhm.
like students, I mean, I know my kids listen to music, might not be the soothing music, but they feel that having that music in the background helps them focus and concentrate. Could be whatever music that works for you. I mean, if you go on YouTube, you can find some really great music for study, just like that. Sometimes the waves and just like that soothing sound, just also calms
Yeah.
your mind, and it's great. So that comment we received by Virginie Down. What
Mhm.
about motivating our teens, knowing that sometimes it can be hard? So how do you
Yeah, it's hard because I've got, it's hard to motivate boys sometimes to do. All kids, sorry, they're going to be level playing field
let's
here.
not
Girls and
stereotype,
boys.
yeah.
Maybe it's just teenagers in
But you
general.
have boys, right? So
Yeah,
you can
but
speak on, yeah.
it is offering. It's just making sure, Virginie, that as you put in all those steps again, like sit down with them, figure out what needs to be done, make a to-do list, fill in a calendar, make sure that they know that they're going to be allowed to do study breaks. Maybe do something special on the weekend for 2 hours, take them out, go to the park, go get an ice cream. Those just those kind of motivating things can really help a child really buckle down and get to work. It's easy for teens and for a lot of people to procrastinate, and procrastination is not necessarily about time management. It's often about not having confidence, right? We're worried about making a
Mhm.
mistake, or we're worried that we're not going to do it well, or they're scared. So, have those conversations about, okay, so why are you not so motivated? Do you have those fears that you're not going to do well? So what are your fears? Let's list them off. Let's talk about it, and then get the help that they might need. So, like you said, it could be, maybe there's a retired teacher on your street, or the older sister, or something that they can do to help get them motivated. But
Mhm.
I think those breaks and not taking away things necessarily, is what we need to do to get our teens motivated, is being proud, offering like rewards,
Mhm.
a pat on the back, a special supper, a piece of cake. I don't know, like something that's
Yeah.
gonna just
You know
make
what?
them keep
You
going.
can ask them, say, "Hey, you know what? Like, I know you gotta study. It's part of the course. What would make you like, what would help you?" Like, you can ask them, like, "What would you like to get?" Like, I mean, obviously, we have boundaries. You're not gonna get a car or anything like that, right? So, like, what would help you, get motivated? Sometimes they need to
Friends.
express what helps them get motivated, right? We have some. Thank you, Patricia. And we're glad you're enjoying these resources. I'm glad that you're finding it valuable. That's our mandate tonight. We really want to make sure that. Families and students have all they that is needed for you guys to really end the year with a bang and amazing success. Megan McLean adding, how do I convince him to value good marks? He's getting 90s in math, but other subjects he has to put more effort. But oh wait, sorry, there's a first section to her question. So Megan McLean, thank you for submitting your comment. My
Yes.
teen usually says he wants to relax after school. That's fine. That's good. He isn't worried because he isn't failing two subjects. I've talked to him about scholarships and the importance of getting good grades, but that is so far from grade 8.
Mhm.
How do I convince him to value the value of good marks? He gets 90s in math, but other subjects he has to put more effort. Hmm. Okay. So Lisa, how would you address
Oh,
this?
not one hard one that on me, eh? That's a hard
Hmm.
one to do because
Yeah, it's
well,
like,
my
okay.
my that was kinda like my older son, who's finished high school, and he saw the values in some and not the others. So, of course, I think we need to almost understand why that's happening. Kids have different interests. So, maybe he
Mhm.
really, really likes math and the sciences, right? And he
And it's
doesn't
natural to
like
him.
like
Yeah.
history or art or other things like that. So, it's so funny. I was just talking this with a colleague the other day, and sometimes we came up with like it's a really good idea maybe to sit down and see how you can marry two different subjects. One that he's really good in, maybe, and like math and history, or math and English, or motivate him by seeing where his interests lie, and then trying to bring in the subjects that he doesn't really
Mm,
like. So, we're just talking about, math and art. There's a lot of sort of cross between, Escher,
mhm,
an artist, a lot his art was all based on math and perspective
mhm,
relations. So try to find those points maybe to sit down with them. Again, it's hard to motivate a teen. And yeah, if he's in grade 8, he doesn't see that sort of, oh, grade 10 and grade 11 are what's really important. So um uh I think that's all I can offer, but
yeah.
you have a great
It's a hard question because it's really a personal question, right? Like, I mean, Megan mentions the scholarships, like that's great, but it all depends on what your child's interested. At this age, sometimes it is a little young to know what they want to do. I mean, some of them really know what they want to do, and some others don't. The scholarships that are being offered, it's great, but is that what the child is interested in? Maybe look at what he's interested in, and there are probably different scholarships. So, like, I mean, sometimes it's just even the maturity level, Lisa,
Mm,
right? They might not
absolutely.
realize it now. And I mean, look, I can speak out of experience. My son, he's 24 now, um, had that same sentiment. Oh, yeah, well, but now it's like totally different. Like the maturity level just comes. It ends up coming, and they'll be able to understand more, and they'll understand the value of good marks. Unfortunately, it is that the curriculum, the emphasis of marks is just overrated, in my opinion.
Well, I
Sorry.
think there's just stress out there for
Yeah, because this is our system, right? It's all about grades.
post-secondary and
Yeah.
getting into this program and not that program. There's a lot out there, so I know
Mm.
kids are stressed with that. So I think it's just really important to keep that open dialogue with them,
Yeah,
um,
exactly,
talk about
definitely.
it.
And
Um,
don't shut the door. So we have another comment here
yeah,
quickly. Aaron Godfrey Silverstone, thank you for your
yeah.
comment. What if a child does not pass one of the Sec 4 exams? Do they automatically have to attend summer school, or if their school marks are okay, they will pass the year?
So this is a great question that
Mhm,
I know we're gonna put on in the comments a link to the government website that explains a little bit about these situations and gives they actually have a great document that kind of shows them sort of three different scenarios about a kid that might be failing, then a kid that's middle ground and such. It's a complicated question that we really are going to tell you to go reach out to your child's teacher, the school principal, because the government goes through some sort of algorithm to
mhm,
calculate,
mhm.
a class mark that was one way could be the other, and it's complicated, and it's much better to actually talk to your
Yeah,
school, your principal, your
definitely. Yeah.
teacher for
All
this.
these questions about ministry exams and like the details of it, we always invite and encourage parents to speak to their schools, their principals, their teachers. It's really important to always have that open communication with their schools, respect the schools and teachers, and administration, to get all the information. In terms of summer school, we will drop the link here. We have our summer school page up. at LEARN. So we do have a partnership with different school boards, and we're offering online summer classes. Again, our classes are similar to our tutoring program. For those of you who use the tutoring program, they're interactive and facilitated by certified subject teachers. And our model really provides flexibility, freedom to learn from anywhere. So to participate, students must have access to the computer and all that stuff. So we'll drop the link of our summer school page. Parents can go consult. And again, anything with summer school, we invite and encourage parents to please speak to your school, your administrators, your teachers, and say, hey, how's my child? What's the
They're
progress
doing right
going?
now.
Is you think you need a summer school or not, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a really important and very valuable question. So we encourage to check with your school. So we've come to the end of our Facebook
Garand.
Live.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, what a
Thank
great
you so much.
evening. Great questions. Thank you for everybody that had a chance to tune in. Thank you for taking your time out of your family life to come and chat with us. We really hope that all these resources, services, tips are helpful for this time of the year. This live will be on our YouTube platforms. They'll be living in the Facebook, so you can always go access it. Send us private messages on our respective pages if you're still looking for resources or need some help. We're always here to help, and we respond very quickly. And we're so happy that you were able to tune in, and really hope that you enjoyed our tonight's interaction, our conversation with Lisa Lorenzetti from Alloprof and myself, Carolina at Learn. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a nice evening.